Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. School is out for summer. It's exciting. The alarm clocks are going off. It's a little terrifying because I have an almost 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and an almost 10-year-old who are saying, "Mommy, will you be our summer cruise director?" So I am excited to get the summer started. This week I did a couple DIY projects where I just created with them some scrap wood, a couple of flips of found or thrifted items. If you want to see what I come up with, stick around. For my first project in this week's video, I am going to upcycle this wooden pig that I thrifted just a little while back when I finally got back into the thrifting mode this year. And so the first thing I'm doing is taking off the tag, and then I decided I want to use some decoupage paper. So I'm going to paint just one side of the pig. First, I am going to sand the edges because I do not like it when these things are rough. I'd rather be able to feel a nice smooth side. That's just me and my tactile stuff. Next, I'm going to paint just one layer of white Swan just on this top edge. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm using decoupage paper and I want the decoupage paper to shine. Now this is the Maime Floral from JRV, and I have used this once before, and I am just going to pick a different section and use up some of the scraps from this paper. And this paper is on my website at www.createyourowncozy.com and in my store at Angry Mama's Antiques and Interiors, as well as all the rest of the items that I am using today. So I painted it white. I kind of cut it to size, and now I'm using liquid patina from DIY to just kind of go along the side of it, get it down, and then I like to go over the top of it with liquid patina and really get the wrinkles out. That's just a way that has worked for me. You can see that you just put the liquid patina over the top and you kind of just pull the air bubbles. So after this is completely dry, then I take a sandpaper to the edge and sand away from me to get the edges nice and crisp. And that's it. Nice, simple decoupage upcycle. What do you think? I know a couple of you thought, and even I thought in last week's video, I went a little crazy with the white wax. Well, I actually did this project last week, but didn't include it in that video. So I am going to sand these edges again. Does anyone else have these tactile issues where they need things to be smooth, even if it's not meant to be touched all the time? Anyway, I had thrifted this a while back. I went over it with clear wax so that the white wax wouldn't be overpowering. And after that, I white waxed it and then wiped it back just to kind of update this a little bit. I know I kind of went crazy with the white wax last week, but I really think this one got updated. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Is this one more current with the white wax, or should I just left it alone? This next one is just something that we had laying around the house. I think I got this at the dollar store a while back. with the intent of literally putting our seeds in it, and it never took off around this house. So what I'm going to do is clean it up and then take some spray paint to kind of prime it. This is metal, and I wanted to add some texture to it, but I wanted the spray paint, especially on the inside, to make this a little easier for me. So I am using Aviary, and I am stippling it on here because I want there to be texture so that it doesn't look like metal. And so I go over it 2 times with Aviary, and I feel like I really got the texture down. DIY paint does need to be sealed or else it will get reactivated. So I went over this one time with Big Top to get this paint sealed, and then the next day I came back and found Ephemeral Melange, which has a bunch of little seed packets. Now, the partner transfer book, the seed catalog, is also good, but all of those were a little bit larger in scale, so that's why I went with this particular one. And I'm just using the transfer tool. Of course, I have to like have openings and corners, but I'm just taking it piece by piece and getting the transfer on there, and then I end up burnishing it with my fingers just to make sure it's adhered. Eventually I will do Big Top over the top of this, but you know what, guys, I forgot to do it before doing my final shot, but I will seal this transfer in to make it, because you're going to be opening this a lot. You definitely need to make sure that transfer is sealed in there, so that it looks gorgeous, like the whole life of this product. So I could have gone a little crazy. I decided to just do these two for a nice subtle floral ad. And I really love how this turned out. So much better than that little Dollar Tree thing. And I think a gardener will love this. Or it doesn't have to be used for seeds. It can be used for a number of little things. These next two projects are my favorites this week, and just be patient with me. I promise I'm going to show you how to do this technique in next week's video. We learned on this just scrap board in Sonnet's membership group. Our friend Tara taught us how to do this, and I'm going to show you next week, I promise. But I got out the new Veranda stamp from IOD. It is my first time using this stamp. So I'm going to season the stamp. It is slick and new and just needs to be seasoned this one time with some 220 grit sandpaper so that the ink has some grit to stick to. I'm going to find the appropriate mask. You can see that they're now tinted with the actual stamp on them so you don't lose them. And my thin mount, guys, this has been a game changer to be able to kind of measure as you go to make sure things are centered. So I'm just going to use black ink from IOD. It needed a little bit more ink, so I'm just revamping my ink pad and putting the ink on there, making sure if I get any on spaces that don't need to be stamped, I wipe that off before I turn it over and stamp it down. I like to hover and then decide where the final place is, and then once you put it down, you are committed. I didn't quite get the center as stamped as I wanted to, so this is when I decided I'm going to do the stamp paint stamp technique on this one, just on those center flowers. So I'm getting the mask over it appropriately so that I can do these diamond patterns over the top of it without the center getting covered. These masks are awesome. Look how cool that is. And because I had sealed the top piece right away, you can kind of rub the ink off, but you need to do it right away. Otherwise, it's permanent, and I would need to try to fake this paint technique in order to cover up ink at this point. So I am just marrying up the edges and doing this whole gorgeous, I guess, grid line over the top of it. And I just think that this is a really cool stamp. I can't believe it took me this long to use it since the release, but better late than never. So the colors I used in this background were Apothecary, Skeleton Key, Aviary, and White Swan. So I am just taking Apothecary and Skeleton Key and going over where the flowers in the stamp would be, and then I'm going over where the leaves would be in Aviary. This is not perfection. You do not need to be a detailed artist for this part. You're just painting over the spots that you're eventually going to stamp over so that it looks like, I don't know, the stamp just makes it look nice and crisp after you've added some color to the underneath. So I really love this technique. It may not be for everyone. If you're like an amazing artist right here, you could just literally be painting with the guideline of the stamp. So you can do whatever you like here. It is really a great way to have artistic expression. You can see right here, this is what it looks like when it's dry, and I waited for the paint to dry all the way, and then I re-stamped my stamp, and then I'm going to clean it up just a little bit, and then take my time with this next part and get it lined up and hover it over the top until I see that it's covered well. Then I'm going to commit, make sure I do a much better job this time with my impression, and then when I'm ready, pull it up and you can see the beauty. Now there were some spots where I didn't quite get the colors right. I had already put my paintbrush in water, so it was very watered down. I just put it in the DIY paint, made the DIY paint a little watercolor-like, and extended the colors just a little bit, and it still looked like the stamp was over top of the paint. So that is another way if you don't want to do stamp, paint, stamp. You could stamp it and then water your paint down and just kind of color it in. There are so many options to use these stamps, and I just think this one turned out beautiful. I did end up sealing the top of this so that all the paint stayed put, and I think this one is a gorgeous one. For project number 5, we learned a little bit different of a technique, which is more building up, and I will show you next week as well. And you can see that there is a lot of texture on this one. Same colors used though, so I have that same color family. And so this was just with a scrap piece of wood, and I am going to use the smaller version of this particular stamp, or the smaller version of the center. There is a smaller grid line, but I liked the bigger grid line with this size piece. And what a fun little add to a piece of wood that was not being used in my scrap pile. I think this turned out so gorgeous. And I am going to show you, after I finish this one, what my planned project is for next week. And if you guys want to learn how to do these background paint techniques, I will tell you the product list after this one is done as well. In next week's video, I'm going to use those 2 paint techniques and show you how to transform this door-like thing that I built. You will need 3 to 5 of your favorite DIY paint or other clay-based or chalk-based paint, some Vaseline, I know, a cheap can of aerosol hairspray, a heat source, like a heat gun or a hair dryer, and some palette knives. The plastic ones will work too. So what did you guys think of this week's video? I totally had fun with those just spare boards that I did that really cool creative background on, and did the stamp with the new Veranda over the top. Don't forget that all the paint and IOD products, DIY paint products, and JRV products are on my website at www.createyyourowncozy.com. On next week's video, I am going to be showing you those really cool paint techniques that I learned for the boards. So make sure you tune in next week. Also, I don't know if you saw some of my reels, but these bracelets are available on my website as well, and in my store at Angry Mama's Antiques and Interiors. Don't forget to check those out. There is an opportunity in the future where I can do a custom saying, and you know I really want to do that. So if you guys buy the bracelets that I have, I will see that there's enough demand, and maybe do a custom one. And I just want to say thank you so much, everyone who was here, who came to check me out. If you are new here, please consider hitting that button to subscribe, notification bell to all, so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Last week's video, I put my thrifted items from the 40/40 challenge up on my website, and 4 of them sold, so I'm super excited. I just wanted to say thank you for that. It is going to encourage me to maybe list some more items that I either make or flip and find on here. One of you guys had a great suggestion. If there are items that you guys are just on the search for and you don't have great thrift stores and you see my prices and you see what I have, let me know in the comments below and I can keep my eyes out for those. And maybe I could do more thrift hauls and listings on my website. Okay, I have been yapping long enough. Guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video.
Look what I received today, guys. I got these gorgeous bracelets that are now uploaded on my website. And I got about 3 of the many options to see if you guys also liked these bracelets. They are currently on my website and going to Angry Mama's Antiques and Interiors.